And good morning. Today may not be the best day to be in HD, but we're going to make this work regardless. My name is Jake Living Payne. A little bit of delay, a little bit of lag, so bear with us. The images may not pick up with the words as quickly as it need to be, but we're still going to give you about 7 really awesome stories today for things you might not have heard for today, being Tuesday, May 24th, 2022. Today's news stories are actually yesterday's news stories. So we're going to go back 30 hours or so and give you some of the top stories that you actually said were most conversational. Maybe not you particularly, if you might not have heard this, but we vet these stories by people who follow our news feeds on our social media links. And of course, the algorithms, of course, has some help as well. You can check out how you make that all happen by going to thisisaconversationproject.com. Also, stop by that page to see links for our sponsors and partnership opportunities so that you can help us keep things going along. Because I'm pretty sure this is pretty good stuff, and some people think it's pretty good stuff. So be a part of the crowd, be part of the gang. Go join us on the journey to keep good conversation going on along the internet and your tertiary news side piece going here for things there. Right now, let's get into some stories. We got a bunch of stories to get into, so let's go ahead and start digging into those. Starting off with the story that was tops across the last 30 hours. Steelers quarterback Dwayne Haskins was intoxicated when hit and killed by a dump truck. USA Today giving us that story right there. We're going to see it pop up on the screen from their article in just mere moments. So much in sync, I guess. This is a story that we all knew was going to get a little bit weirder, a whole lot sadder as it went along, and that's what's happened. We now know that Dwayne Haskins, the 24-year-old quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, was intoxicated, had blood levels of 0.20. Which is, of course, way over the legal limit of 0.08 in Florida, and pretty much bad for anyone. People said basically he was out drinking pretty heavily the night before. Of course, the car stopped on the side of the roadway, and he was just sort of meandering into the road and was hit by a dump truck. Now, this has been labeled an accident. What's going on? But as we said, we assumed more would come out from this story. And it doesn't make the story any easier to take down. It actually makes it a bit more sadder to really to digest with this story going forward. So Dwayne Haskins' cause of death is still the accident, being hit by the truck while on the interstate dealing with his broken down car. But we now know that he was intoxicated by a whole lot when the incident went down. We'll probably go deeper into this. The story probably go even deeper, going beyond what we know right here. But for right now, we are still having plenty of thoughts and prayers out to the family of Dwayne Haskins, also the Pittsburgh Steelers family as well. They are family, whether you want to call it business or not, and just all those around dealing with this incident in total. Next story. SiriusXM buys Conan OBrien's team Coco. Allaccess.com is where I got this because I'm still think of myself as a radio person, so I like to stay with the trades, giving us that story. But it was everywhere after a while. Once the bid was bought and people kind of understood what was happening, it went viral-ish, I guess. And so what does this actually mean? Well, content is king in the business of content. So for things like SiriusXM, for things like Peacock, for things like iHeartRadio, those first and last specifically, because they are traditional audio type formats, having a big name person to throw ads behind because people will probably listen to them is a big deal. And SiriusXM is buying out Team Coco and all of Team Coco's content. Now, unlike the Joe Rogan experience and it being bought out and going exclusively to Spotify, making it harder to get in a sense, but easier to kind of rein in, Team Coco and Conan O'Brien's actual main podcast stuff will be seen in other places. It won't be exclusive to a SiriusXM satellite radio, but you will have some other ways to get to it probably just via regular RSS feed, via podcast links and things. YouTube probably as well, because Sirius does do a lot of things with YouTube as well. But Sirius, as the content owner, which of course it's a streamer, of course, as well, now is producing and paying Team Coco to keep producing more great stuff. And I'll say great because Conan O'Brien produces great stuff, and so that means it's more on the task of SiriusXM to get the advertising, get the money, and more for Conan to just kind of keep doing the funny stuff. We'll see how this one rolls out coming soon, as the differences will happen. There will be some changes. I'm not sure that we can say Conan's going corporate, but there will be some changes on how things are happening when new ownership happens. Just like when he left NBC and left TBS, there were changes from the guardians that held the gate. Now we'll see what SiriusXM will allow them to do, because Sirius, they have no issues with the blue language, if you know what I mean. Starbucks will exit Russia after 15 years, closing 130 licensed cafes. CNBC.com giving us this story right here. And this is following along in the footsteps, or the footprint, if you will, of McDonald's pulling out of Russia. McDonald's had to take a while to figure out what they're going to do. The biggest issue with McDonald's is, essentially their IP, their imaging, their likeness, things like that they worry about. When you give it to Russia, they'll do what they're going to do with it, and they are doing things. Same thing happening to the licensed cafes from Starbucks in Russia as well. So they are basically done with Russia. 15 years of working in Russia, 15 years of being there, 15 years of doing what they can do to expand their brand and be more global. They're going to be less global because they're out of Russia. Now, here comes the really sort of the kind of complicated thing about this. Whenever this conflict is over, and whenever there's some resolution to whatever is going on, and whenever Russia figures out how to come down from its little cloud of insanity, we will see what happens when some of these businesses who are holding on to things will come back. Some of the smaller ones will probably come back easily, but the larger ones that did this make a stand, that's going to be a whole nother issue. How bad will Coca-Cola or Pepsi fight to get back into full graces of Russian culture? How hard will it get back into the stores? 130 stores being shut down across the nation. McDonald's had even more of those things, and of course they were famous when they brought in the Big Mac to make that something to Americanize the Russian people. How long will it take to get them back in is the question, and will they want to get back in? The short answer is there's money, so the answer is yes. But how long will it take to actually get back in there, and are they actually thinking run around end game from all this stuff? Is it just goodwill for the right nows and now to get back in when it's ready? Or are they really done forever? We will see. But right now, Starbucks joining a few other companies. This article also says British American Tobacco and ExxonMobil also just completely done with Russia. We'll see how Starbucks fares getting out and whether they can bring them back in. Our next story for this morning to give you is this one. When the button works right, it will be this one. How about that? Pfizer 3-dose COVID vaccine, 80% effective against symptomatic Omicron infection for youngest children. What does that mean for you and your children? The youngest one can now go out and get their vaccines right now. If you're worried about your whole family being totally vaxxed and being totally ready to go and be able to just have safer lives in the now world of coronavirus, you have less fears, as the 3-dose COVID vaccine for Pfizer is 80% effective against the symptoms for youngest children. Now, further variants, we will see, but having some sort of protection from something is a whole lot better than nothing. And being able to now get your 5-year-olds their vaccinations makes a lot of parents feel much, much better about life going forward in post-COVID life, which is going to be for a while. This is a sad story in a sense. The last public payphone has been removed from New York City. USAtoday.com giving us this one. And obviously there weren't many phones going on to be going out there. But if you are of a certain age or of certain old enoughness, which is the same thing but not said properly, you will know the iconicness of a telephone in public, a payphone. You may love the old classic song Mr. Telephone Man, and the video with Bobby Brown being beat up by phone guys who are just trying to fix a payphone. This is a big deal. I don't know if there's a picture. Here we go. I'm trying to get the picture to scroll up in there. That's it. They're pulling it out of the ground. They're moving out of the way. 2 phones, the last public pay phones in New York City, have been removed. Now, what a lot of places have done, a lot of cities have done with the spaces that have existed, to some degrees of success and a lot of degrees of detriment, is use those kiosks, because now the kiosks, because they're connected to the telecommunication lines, and have used that for extending Wi-Fi across the city to get access to different boards. Here in our city, we have, like, where we had some payphones, we have these big old video boards that do information type stuff, and they do offer Wi-Fi that's I think it's paid because it's downtown, so it's based on a consortium keeping up with it, and so it's a way to keep things going there. However, there have been issues with people like homeless folks and things. They basically bogarting the kiosk and doing homeless things at the kiosk there. So The fix is just get rid of them and figure out other things. Payphones have now been eliminated from New York City. I can't think of any major city who still runs on people using public phones because everybody has a phone in their pocket. The reason why there are no payphones. Pretty simple on that level going there. It's a bit lag, so we're trying to get there. We're trying to get there. There, that's better. Now, like I said, probably not the best day to be in HD. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it don't. Man blocks McDonald's drive-thru for 2 hours by refusing to wait in bay for McMuffin. This is a true example of sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We get this from mirror.co.uk. So this is a fairly simple story of a man determined to get his order right and determined to stay in the drive-thru for weeks if necessary until they return him the proper thing. This is there he is right there. He's not leaving the drive-thru until he gets the refund on his card for the wrong order. And he's just sitting there. He literally sat there for 2 hours. He was basically mad because he made him wait over 15 minutes to get his meal. And because of that, he just wanted his refund. And so instead of rolling up and saying, "Sir, we'll take care of it," he sat in the drive-thru, pulled out his phone, started talking to it, started being a jerk. And so what became of this? Cops got called after 2 hours and he pulled out of the way. There you go. Go read the story because it's deeper. It's more detailed. You can see the video of him, the guy doing his video thing, doing his McDonald's bitching and griping thing going forward. And you can see exactly how not to act for your conflict resolution course. If you need something to put into your conflict resolution course, I can offer conflict resolution courses. And we'll probably use this video as a way not to do stuff. I'm really big in how not to do stuff. This is a big short of how not to do stuff. And dropping this one in here because we dropped these in here. For some reason, conversation listeners and going all the way back to the beginning of this stuff have a thing for dead porn stars. And so we have to announce dead porn star stories. They always rank. They rank very high. You see, this one has a 3. This was a 3rd ranked story over the past day. So we're going to slightly talk about it. Just a wee bit. So Logan Long, adult film star, dead at 34. Basically suffered from pneumonia, dying a few days ago in a hospital. Doctors did everything they could to try to relieve his symptoms. Now, the more interesting thing about Mr. Logan Long, is his career path. He's only 34 years old. He's been in business for 6 years. So he's been doing this since about 28 years old. I don't know, fairly late in the life of the career of a porn star. 6 years, 1,000 roles, 1,000 films in 6 years. I'm trying to not hiccup and burp at the same time and actually highlight it. 1,000 films in 6 years. This is a day for the pooper, folks. It just happens to be. All right, so we got that. Now we're going to move on to today. So we can talk about tomorrow. A teaser story for today. The story we may talk about, if you deem this one necessary, you deem this one good enough, you deem this one something that we got to really chat on. Todd Chrisley flew to LA twice a month to get his hair done, but had no money to pay his bills, former business partner said. Todd Chrisley and his wife are on trial right now for a whole bunch of stuff dealing with their finances and their business. What we're finding out about the Chrisleys is for a big chunk of time, even though their businesses were doing well or doing okay, even during the recession, they were still spending a whole lot of money like they had extra money to spend, and they didn't. So there's a whole lot of people wanting to get some money back from the Chrisleys. In the trial the other day, someone said that basically Todd Chrisley flew to LA literally twice a month haircut and get his hair colored because that's where his stylist was. But they couldn't actually pay their actual bills, their actual business bills, but they're living the high life because they can. If this is one you want to deem to talk about tomorrow, you can let me know by going to the feeds and voting up by your engagement. But first, let's talk about some money. for me and for you, because we're talking about how I save money on my spectacles using Zenni Optical. Zenni Optical is one of the best optical websites out there, best glasses website you're going to find out there, because they're going to offer you great glasses for a very good price. So don't get so hung up with the fact that someone will send you 5 pairs of glasses, but they'll charge you, $200 for the process. Zenni Optical will send you the glasses that you order, send you glasses you want, send you glasses that you really, really want to look for. They have beautiful designer styles. They have great eyewear technology. They have great frames that look good and are priced in your price range. My frames, literally, I don't hate saying it. I've been buying the same frames for the past couple of years. My frames cost me $7, $6.95. They're basic frames because I wear basic glasses and I tend to lose my glasses. So I have many, many, many pairs just in case some get misplaced or I can't find them because they're sitting in my head for some reason. You should check them out. This is a affiliate link, so the money part for us, we get a small commission for bringing you into the store, but you're not going to notice it, and they're going to give you great glasses for a great price. Check out this is theconversationproject.com/Zenni. This theconversationproject.com/Zenni, Zenni for Zenni Optical. They're going to take good care of yous, and you're going to go off and look great in those new pairs of specs. Now let's talk about the Conversation Project for a minute and our main website, which is theconversationproject.com. Find out all things Conversation Project, including links to our sponsors, links to the partnerships page, and more information about how we got to be at this point in time in our status of life for this video shoot thing and other things coming, plus the other podcasts and other things coming on for more details, more insight into me. Whether you want more of it or not, it is coming. You can't stop it. It's going to be there, posted for the website. This is conversationproject.com. The feeds are on Facebook and Twitter. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Follow our feeds. Every 15 minutes or so, we post a new story. The Todd Chrisley story is going to post in about 20, 30 minutes or so. And as you see those stories in your feed throughout your day, engage with them. We're basically, as we say, your third-class news source. We're there to give you some news stories just at random-ish times. Not so much random, it's actually every 50 minutes. But as you check your feed at random times, you'll see more stories. Engage in them, read them, like them, love them, hate them, share them. The more engagement they get, the higher score they get in the day. We cut them off at 5 in the morning to do all the pre-show for this stuff, and we provide you stories from the top 15 vetted stories of the day, Tuesday through Friday. It's about 30 to 33 stories throughout the day, so the top 15 get the look. We get the love to about 5 to 7 of them for you to get down. And if you're not following us on YouTube, please do go to thisistheconversationproject.com/YouTube and we'll subscribe to our YouTube channel and then hit the button for notifications so you get the notification when we go live about 5:50 every single weekday morning here on the internet's YouTube and Facebook. If you're on a Facebook feed, you'll get the same notifications as well. But for YouTube, we're looking to get more YouTubers there so we can expand on that end. You can help us out by following us on YouTube and hitting notifications as well. A couple more things to do to get you through your day or on your day or for your day. Today, things, including birthdays. We're going on the mature today, starting off with Tommy Chong hitting 84 on the day, Bob Dylan hitting 81, and Patti LaBelle, Patti, 78 years old today. There were a range of people to top our birthdays, but we're going to say we're going with the classics. We're going with the legends. We're going with the folks that actually got some stuff done. Love to Tommy Chong, Bob Dylan, and Patti LaBelle today. It's also Asparagus Day. Not Happy Asparagus Day, just Asparagus Day. Asparagus Day, we acknowledge you. We're not eating it today. We acknowledge you. And one last thing to go before you go out the door. One more thing you might have heard. Here's something to think about if you have a family that's having a weird dynamic with political sides and knowing who's on what side. And not so much the fights within your family with Uncle Todd, who does think space aliens were there and is still fighting the election from 2 years ago. But people bringing new people into the family that don't quite fit the political mold that you raise your children's in. A 2016 survey found that 60% of Democrats and 63% of Republicans would balk at their children marrying a supporter of a different political party. So think about that when you're planning your seat gatherings at the wedding. Make sure Aunt Paula and Uncle Dean aren't next to each other because they both voted for, Howard Dean and Tom Cruise. I don't know. That's something in my head. It's been a day. We have all sort of glitches going on, but we survived, and we survived it in 20 minutes. Today has been things you not heard, things you might not have heard. That's what it has been for Tuesday, May 24th. I am Jay Cleveland Payne. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Make sure you follow us on the feeds, and you, of course, you'll check out the main website for all great details. Our main sponsor today is Zenni Optical, but we have plenty of other great folks who take good care of you. Checking them out at This Is the Conversation Project. See all the sponsors, and just make sure you are keeping up with us. More stories all day long, all night long, and we'll talk about some great ones because you're going to tell us which ones to talk about. There you go. If you don't like it, it's kind of your fault. Working on it now. Let's get on and have a great Tuesday. Stay limber, stay hydrated, stay on task. We need you around to do the great things you are meant to do here. With that, let's bid adieu. Do it again tomorrow.